In this presentation, we will record the purchase of furniture and donation of furniture within QuickBooks Pro, QuickBooks Desktop. Here we are in our practice QuickBooks file. We currently have the open windows open. You can open the open windows by going to the view dropdown and selecting the open windows list. First, let's take a look at our Excel worksheet to see what our objective will be. We are on number 5 where we will purchase office equipment for $13,000, and then we're going to have a donation of office equipment. So we'll compare and contrast the two of those transactions, starting with the purchase of equipment, which is a fairly straightforward type of transaction. We're going to be purchasing equipment. Equipment will go up. The other side is going to be going to cash. If we were to post that out into Excel to see it transparently, we would say that, all right, the equipment's going to be on the books as an asset, not as an expense, because we're going to be basically purchasing a long-term type of item rather than something that will be expense. The asset goes up by the 13, and the cash then is going to be going down by the 13. So that's going to be our first transaction. We're going to record that simply in QuickBooks with a check. So we're going to go back to the QuickBooks file then, back to QuickBooks. We're going to then go into the check. We're going to make sure we're in the proper account this time, the checking account. We're going to go into the checking account. And I like to go into the actual check, so if it takes you to the register here, just double click on this blank area. Double click on that blank area. We'll be in the actual check. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to say this happens on the 8th. I'm going to say it's going to be from Office Depot. So say Office Depot, quick add the Office Depot. It's going to be a vendor, so we'll set it up as a vendor. The amount is going to be for that $13,000. So the amount $13,000. And then we're going to say that the accounts are going to be furniture and fixture or furniture and equipment. I'll say, what did we call it here? Let's go back over here. We'll say equipment and furniture. All right. I'll copy it up top. We'll make it look the same. Equipment and furniture. Back over here, I'm going to make a new account for it. Equipment and furniture. Tab. Set up that account. We're going to set up equipment and furniture. It's going to be a fixed asset. That's going to be the key. It's not an expense, fixed asset type of account. Then we'll say OK or continue and set it up as that fixed asset. There it is, the $13,000. We're going to put it into the class. Everything's going to right now go into the fundraising until we reallocate. Then I'm going to say save and close and yes. So there is our transaction. Let's close this back out. Let's look at our reports. Reports up top, company and financial. Actually, let's go down to the accounting and taxes and then go to the trial balance report. Changing the dates from 01/01/20 to 12/31/20, January through December. Our transaction checking account, double clicking the checking account going down by that 13, closing that back out. Other side going to the equipment account, furniture and equipment. There's the 13 in furniture and equipment. It's fairly straightforward. Let's take a look at the second one. This is the second transaction. I'm going to make that green. I'm going to make the other one blue. And the second transaction, it's going up again for furniture and equipment, but the other side now going to contributions. Someone gave us, their couch or something, their sofa or whatever. So now we're going to increase that, and it's going to be a contribution. So once again, we want to show that it's going to be a contribution. So let's do this. Here it's going to be fairly straightforward. Here I can do the journal entry. I'm going to say, okay, the furniture and equipment is going to be going up again, or equipment and furniture. I'm going to say F2 plus F2, increasing this account by the 11.5. The second side is going to be going to the contributions without a restriction. So contributions without a restriction is in Q13 equals, scrolling back down, that's going to be the credit of the 11.5. So there is that. That's going to be the transaction. Now in QuickBooks, we have a few other things we need to think about. What form are we going to use to do that? Because there's no actual form that would be the easiest thing to use. We could use a journal entry, but we also want to provide the donor, the person that gave us the furniture, some type of thank you letter, and that's usually with our receipt, sales receipt. So in other words, if we go back to QuickBooks then, and I say, all right, let's go back to the home tab. I got to fill this out. The normal kind of transaction we would have to obviously make if we were to buy the furniture would be like check. If we got a donation, it would be the sales receipt. But the sales receipt doesn't quite fit this because that would mean we typically got cash. You would think then that you can do a journal entry, which you could. We can go to the company tab. We can make a journal entry just as we did there, entering the journal entry. And we can't even assign the class to it. What we don't have with the journal entry, however, is a nice tracking of the tracking record on given the donation. So we'd really like to use the sales receipt so that we can have the sales receipt if we want to provide it. So what we want to do then is basically use this form if we can. And so that's what we'll do. As we do this, it'll put the money into undeposited funds, which is, and then we're going to have to take it out of there and put it where we want it, which is going to be into the furniture and equipment. So this is kind of that two-step process we saw before. We're going to create the sales receipt, and I'm going to say this is a donor. Who are we on? Donor number 3 tab. We're going to set up donor number 3. Now the class is going to be for unrestricted. I'll put it into the fundraising. I'm going to say this is the 9th. And then the item we're going to set up is going to be for the donation here. So we want the donation. And then we have the donation. And we might want to put here it's a donation of the furniture or something like that within the description. And then we're going to set the rate. How much was the donation for? This is going to be some type of fair market value, mind you. And we're going to say down here that it's going to be the 11.5. Note it says here that we have the fair market value being the 11.5. That's what we would have to determine on the furniture. So it's going to be the 11.5. And this then will give us a type of form, which again we can make into a template like a thank you letter that we'll be able to provide to somebody. However, what's going to be the transaction here? Increasing undeposited funds when we really want to increase the furniture, and the other side going to where we want it, which is going to be the donations that will be unrestricted. That item is driving to unrestricted income in essence. So we're going to say save and close, save and close. Let's check out what that did. It increased what we need to deposit over here, so we're going to have to deal with that. If we go to the trial balance and analyze what happened, we can say, all right, we have the undeposited funds that increased by the 11.5. That's not where we want it, but that's what we're gonna have to deal with. The other side did go to where we want it to go, and that's going to be the contributions. So we had the contributions that are unrestricted here, and we had that increase of the 11.5. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the home tab. I'm going to deposit this into our clearing account and then make the adjustment to it. So I'm going to go back into here. I'm going to go and say deposit this item. Okay. I want to put it not in the checking account, but the clearing account. It's just going to go in and out of the clearing account. I don't want to make that our default account. So there it is. And then I'm going to save this. This will take it out of undeposited funds, put it into the clearing checking account. Save and close, save and close. If I go back to the trial balance then, now we've got the clearing checking account at the 11.5, and it's been taken out of undeposited funds. Now we want to take it out of the clearing account and put it into the proper account, which is going to be the furniture and fixtures, or the furniture and equipment, or whatever we call it, the PP&E, the depreciable assets. We're going to go back into the home tab, and then to do that, we could go into the register, might be the easiest way to do it. Banking drop down, we're going to go to the use register. We want to go to the clearing account. So we're going to go into the clearing account and OK. And then we can see what is in there. This should be 0 because it's a clearing account. So we're just going to take that right back out. And it's going to go to then the 11.5. We want to put it into equipment. Equipment and furniture. So there's the equipment and furniture and enter. So that should take it out of there. So if we go back to the trial balance then, now we have it out of the clearing account back to 0 the way it should be. The equipment now here, if I double click on it, we see then has that 11.5 within it. So I'm going to close this back out, and then let's take a look at the profit and loss by class. I'm going to go to the reports drop down up top, company and financial. We'll take a look at the profit and loss by class. And then change the dates up top from 01/01/20 to 12/31/20. And then we've got the contributions up top. We've got the contributions that are going to be unrestricted. So if we go into the unrestricted contributions, then we're going to see our 11.5 here.